Tonight, 3 archived stories.
Every house has a room like this. You don't talk about it. You don't point at it. You just don't go there. This message was sent by a subscriber who said he didn't realize the room existed until someone asked him why he avoided it. He said the question felt wrong because he didn't remember deciding to avoid it. He just always had. In his house, it was a small room at the end of the hallway. No lock, no sign, no reason. In his house, it was a small room at the end of the hallway. No lock, no sign, no reason. The door was always closed. Not because it had to be, because opening it felt unnecessary, like correcting something that wasn't broken. He walked past it every day, morning, night, half asleep, fully awake. And every time, his body adjusted its path just slightly, shoulders turning away, eyes lowering, not fear, respect. He said that's the part that scared him later, because respect implies agreement, an old one, a quiet one. The first time he noticed something was wrong was when the door was open, just a crack. He stood in the hallway for a long time, not frozen, waiting. His body knew exactly how close he was allowed to stand, and no closer. He didn't feel watched, he felt acknowledged, like the room was aware that he noticed, and that was enough. Later, he asked his partner about it. He paused, longer than necessary, then said, "That room and nothing else." No explanation, just a look that said the conversation was already over. That night, he dreamed of standing in the doorway, not entering, never entering, knowing exactly where the line was. In the dream, the room didn't move. It didn't need to. He woke up with his heart racing, not because of fear, because of guilt, like he almost broke something important. The next day, he tried to force himself. Not suddenly, not dramatically, just one step closer. His body refused. Not stiff, heavy. His chest tightened. His hands shook. Not panic yet. Warning. The kind that comes before consequences. He crossed the line anyway, 1 foot inside, and that's when it happened. The panic wasn't loud. It was absolute. No thoughts, no images, just certainty that he had violated an agreement he didn't remember making, but his body remembered perfectly. His lungs burned. His vision narrowed, not because something was attacking him, because something was withdrawing permission. He stumbled back into the hallway. The panic stopped instantly, like a switch, like forgiveness. That night, the door was closed again, tightly. He didn't touch it. He didn't need to, because now he understood. The room wasn't empty. It was patient, and it didn't mind being ignored, as long as the agreement held. He ended the message by saying this: if you think of a place in your home right now, a place you avoid without knowing why, don't test it, because if it hasn't called you inside, it means you're still keeping your part, and it remembers what happens when you don't. The recording stops. If you're listening to this late at night, don't turn the lights off. It doesn't happen in the dark. It happens when everything is visible. This was sent to me by a subscriber who never believed in anything paranormal, never talked about fear, never exaggerated. His voice on the recording stays controlled almost the entire time,
That's what makes it worse. He says it began on an ordinary evening, standing alone in his kitchen waiting for water to boil, staring at the counter because there was nothing else to look at. The overhead light was bright, clean, white, the kind of light that leaves nowhere to hide and makes shadows sharp and obedient. That's why he noticed immediately when his shadow wasn't where it belonged. It was there, just not under him. It leaned slightly to the left, touching the cabinet door instead of falling straight beneath his feet. At first, he didn't move. He just stood there, listening to the quiet hum of the refrigerator, watching his own outline cling to the wrong surface. He tells himself this part was curiosity, not fear. He wanted to understand the angle, the source of the light, the reason his brain was insisting something was off. So he leaned forward. The shadow followed, but not at the same time. There was a pause, short, barely measurable, but real. He straightened. The shadow corrected itself a moment later, as if receiving the instruction late. He laughed quietly to himself just once, because laughing felt safer than standing in silence with that delay hanging between him and the wall. He blamed fatigue, long workdays, bad posture. That explanation lasted until he raised his hand. He lifted it slowly, deliberately, counting under his breath without realizing it. 1, 2. His hand reached shoulder height. The shadow stayed still. Then it moved. Late. Not copying, responding. He felt something tighten in his chest then, not panic, not yet, but a thin awareness, like noticing someone standing too close behind you without hearing footsteps. He dropped his arm. The shadow followed, again after a delay. That's when he stopped moving. He stood perfectly still for almost a minute, watching the outline of his body on the wall, waiting to see if it would settle. It didn't. It shifted its weight. Just slightly, like it was uncomfortable holding the position. He turned off the kettle, left the kitchen light on, and went to bed without looking back. That night, he slept with the hallway light shining under his door. He says he dreamed of standing still while something else practiced being him. The next evening, he tried to avoid it. He used lamps instead of ceiling lights, stayed close to walls, kept his movements slow and controlled. It didn't matter. In the bathroom, under the bright mirror light, it returned. Same delay. Longer this time. He brushed his teeth without looking directly at the wall, using the mirror instead, until he realized the reflection wasn't helping.
Because the shadow in the mirror didn't match the one behind him. They were out of sync with each other. And both were late. He felt nausea rise then. Thick and sudden, like his body was reacting before his thoughts could catch up. He rinsed his mouth, spit, straightened, and waited. The shadow behind him moved first. Not much, just enough to recenter itself, as if it had been standing wrong, as if it had been corrected. After that night, the delay increased steadily. Half a second, then a full one. Enough time to feel, enough time to think. He stopped testing it, stopped making sudden movements, stopped standing directly under lights. Because sometimes when he moved without thinking, he couldn't remember deciding to move at all. He describes moments where his body would already be in a new position before the thought arrived to explain it, like the order had reversed. Like something else was rehearsing, and he was learning the timing secondhand. The recording grows quieter here. His breathing becomes more careful. He says the worst part wasn't seeing the shadow anymore. It was sensing it even when the light was off, knowing where it would be standing when the light came back on, knowing it was already there. On the final night, he set up his phone and turned on every light in the living room. He stood in the center of the room, hands at his sides, heart steady. He didn't move. The shadow appeared on the wall, perfectly formed, perfectly still.
For a moment, it matched him. Then it adjusted. It stepped slightly forward, stretching taller, straighter, as if finding its balance. And he felt it, that shift, inside himself, like something letting go. He says he didn't panic then. He felt relief, like someone else had finally taken responsibility for standing there. The last thing he says on the recording is this: "I think it was waiting for me to stop going first." The audio cuts out. The light stays on. And somewhere, a shadow finishes the movement before the body does.
If you wake up slowly, nothing happens. That's the rule I learned too late. I'm recording this because I don't trust my memory anymore. Because every time I try to think about it clearly, something feels edited. Like the beginning of a thought has been removed before I can reach it. This started on a normal night. No stress, no drinking, no medication, just sleep. I fell asleep the way I always do, on my back, lights off, phone face down on the nightstand. I remember checking the time, 2:41 a.m. The next thing I remember is waking up too fast. Not drifting awake, not easing out of sleep, but snapping into consciousness like someone had pulled me upward by the chest. Eyes open, lungs burning, heart already racing as if it had started before I did. And for a fraction of a second, there was a face above me. Close, too close. Not standing at the foot of the bed, not in the corner, right over me, leaning down, filling my vision. I didn't scream, I didn't move, because the face wasn't wrong enough to panic over. It looked human, normal skin, normal eyes, no distortion, no exaggeration. That's what made it worse. Its expression wasn't aggressive, it wasn't threatening, it was focused, intent, like someone interrupted mid-task, like it hadn't expected me to wake yet. Then it dropped out of view, straight down, not stepping back, not fading, just gone. The room was empty, exactly how it should have been. Walls, ceiling, darkness. I lay there for a long time, telling myself what everyone tells themselves: dream residue, hypnagogic hallucination, sleep inertia. I didn't believe any of it, but I needed something to hold on to. The next night, I tried to wake up slowly. I practiced it. When I felt myself surfacing, I forced my eyes to stay closed, counted breaths, moved one finger at a time. Nothing happened. No face, no presence, just morning. That's when I noticed the pattern. It wasn't about waking up, it was about how fast. The third night, I slipped. I woke suddenly again, and the face was back. Same position, same distance, same expression. But this time, it hesitated. Just long enough for me to register details. The way its eyes adjusted to the light, the way its mouth tightened slightly, like irritation, like I'd ruined its timing. Then it moved away, slower than before, as if it was being careful not to be seen leaving. That was when fear set in. Not panic, not screaming fear, something colder. Understanding. It wasn't appearing, it was retreating. Every morning. After that, I became careful, obsessive. I trained myself to wake gently, no matter what. And as long as I did, there was nothing. Days passed, then weeks, until one morning I woke slowly and still felt watched. Not from above, not from the corners, from very close, like someone had just stepped out of my space. I didn't open my eyes. I stayed perfectly still, pretending to sleep, breathing evenly, waiting. Nothing happened. But when I finally got up, I noticed something small. My pillow was warm. Not where my head had been, above it, like something had leaned there. I stopped sleeping on my back after that. It didn't help, because it wasn't about position. It was about timing. One night, exhaustion won. I fell asleep hard, deep, and I woke up instantly. Too fast. The face was already there. But this time, it didn't drop away. It blinked, adjusted its posture, like it had been caught mid-movement. Our eyes met, and I realized something that made my stomach turn. It wasn't surprise that I saw it. It was surprise that I saw it this long. Its mouth opened slightly, as if it was about to speak, or explain, or correct something. Then it stepped back, slowly enough for me to notice. It wasn't backing away from me. It was stepping into the space behind my head, into the part of the room I couldn't see. That's when I understood the worst part. It didn't stand over me when I slept. It lay there, above me, waiting for the moment I woke, waiting to leave. This morning, I woke slowly again, too slowly, and I felt it hesitate, like it was deciding whether to stay. I didn't open my eyes, but I felt it smile, not happily, relieved, because it finally knew I can't control how fast I wake forever. And one morning, it won't have time to leave. The recording ends.